Good thing we're gonna get all the money in our district, I guess.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our March 12th, 2024 Madison County Fiscal Court meeting. This is a regular scheduled meeting here at 304 Chestnut Street in Berea. I always want to thank Mayor of Berea, Mayor Bruce Fraley, and the City Council for allowing us to use their space to hold our fiscal court meetings. It's always good to be in Berea. This time I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Combs.
Here.
Master Lockmiller. Master Hughes. Here. Master Barkin. Judge Taylor.
Here. Next is our prayer. My friend, Cuz Tim Taylor from Wayside Christian Church is here to lead us in a word of prayer. Thanks for being here today, Tim.
Thanks for asking me to come here. It's an honor. Appreciate it. You would bow our heads and pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity we have to come together, Lord, to open this meeting up with prayer. We thank you for we're still allowed to do that, Lord, and the freedoms that we have, and we just give you the praise and glory for it. Thank you for the ones that are gathered here and serving this community. All the men and women, Lord, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of work for what they do. We pray that you'll watch over them, protect them, and especially the law officers, and keep them safe, and just whatever decisions they had to make, Lord, pray they look to you for guidance and direction. And we know they get all kinds of requests and business and on their agenda and stuff. We just pray that the decision is made as according to thy will and best for this community. Pray a special blessing on each and every one that's come out today. Give you the praise and glory for all things. Pray it all in Jesus' name, and amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Sheriff, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
Please stand and face our flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Members of the court, y'all have had the chance to look at our previous meeting minutes. That was our fiscal court meeting that was on February the 27th. I need a motion and a second to approve, please.
Make a motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Hughes. Judge Taylor.
Yes. Treasurer's report will be at our next fiscal court meeting. We always have that on our fourth Tuesday meeting. First order of business today is an update from Hope's Wings Jail and Bail fundraiser. Jennifer, it's good to have you here today.
Well, I appreciate you having me for my first fiscal court meeting of 2024. You'll see me again in October, but today I always come at the beginning of the year to let you know that we'll be doing our annual fundraiser in April, our jail and bail. I know that you all love that. Many of you have been arrested before. Reagan, I think we've arrested you a time or two, and Magistrate Tudor, when he was a magistrate, was arrested, and so I'm here to ask any of you to be arrested for Hope's Wings. I'll tell you, fundraising was down a little bit last year. Last year was a hard time for people in general, and so we saw a little bit of decrease in donations and fundraising, and so this year we're trying to kick it off a bit stronger, because I'm sure you all know, just like I'm feeling it at home, the cost of things are on the rise. The cost of electricity is higher, the cost of water is higher, the cost of food is higher. Well, if you put a bunch of women and kids in a shelter that's full pretty much all of the time, then you can imagine what our costs are at the shelter. So fundraising is just extremely important for us. So I'm here to ask any of you to be arrested. Sheriff Coyle, you usually have somebody from your department who's arrested, and we appreciate that. So we're having some fun with it this year. Several of the city folks have agreed to be arrested, and we've got a wonderful marketing person working with us. Her name is Paige Cartner, and she's doing promotion videos all over the city this week, actually, with some of the commissioners and Mayor Blythe. And so if any of you want to participate, we would absolutely welcome you, and we would send Paige out to your business of choice or your home to do something fun and help you raise your bail. We're not above that. I'm happy to raise your bail for you if you'll just let me use your face and steal your Facebook page. I don't mind. I don't mind. We'd do that. But we're trying to get the public involved. So if you could just help us spread the word or volunteer to be arrested or told somebody to be arrested, we would really appreciate that, because we are full right now, and so we could use your help. And I would love to answer any questions that you might have about Hope's Wings or what's going on with us this year. We try to update you. The county is a huge support of ours with our grant, and so I like to keep you updated as well.
Jennifer, when is the event?
It's on April 12th. So that is actual April 12th, and our jail is super nice. We feed you breakfast and lunch if you're there for both. We're happy to have you come down and hang out with us for a while. It's a great time to network. Or you can raise your bail beforehand. A lot of people do that. They'll raise their bail and just come in and grab a bite to eat and pay our bail bondsman the bail or your pledge sheets, and we have a good time with it. There's usually a lot of people down there hanging out and networking, and it's nice.
Will it be at Central Bank?
Central Bank again this year. Yep. They're great hosts for us, and we'll have photo opportunities when you're there. Usually the register comes out and does a story, and we've had other people in the past. Our attorney generals have come. Attorney General Cameron came when he was Attorney General at one point in time, and I don't know that that's happening this year. I'm just saying people know the importance of our program, and so they usually come out and support us, and we would appreciate any support that
Sure.
You all can give to. And I've already reached out to Kelly to ask her if you would be arrested, so I haven't heard back from her yet, but she always gets back to
Yeah.
me, so just
Sure
giving you a
she
heads
will.
up there.
She hadn't told me yet, so
Yeah.
it might have been a surprise.
You might have been a voluntold situation. Yeah, possibly. But
All right.
any questions about our
questions?
program that any of you all have?
Just appreciate all that you do. We thank you for being here.
Well, I appreciate that. And if you haven't been out to the shelter for a while, I invite you to come out. We added an education center on about 3 years ago, which is a fantastic room where we're able to bring community partners in to offer classes to the residents that stay there. We've got a wall of computers that they can use and a great classroom space. So we see people from EKU and New Opportunity School for Women and Kentucky River Foothills who come out and offer those classes. And that addition that we built was debt-free. So our program remains debt-free, and we're super proud of that and the things that we do. So we are very good stewards of any money that comes into the shelter, and we'll continue to do so. We just need your help in bringing some in this year. So anything you can do, we'd appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Next is a Kentucky Transportation Cabinet update. Casey. Hey, buddy. It's good to have you all here. Casey, if you want to introduce your slide.
Thank you, Judge, and good morning to the members of the Fiscal Court. I'm Casey Smith. I'm with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet's District 7 office in Lexington. I'm here with Clyde Newcomer, who is the section supervisor out of the Richmond section covering the Madison and Garrett County areas, as well as Francis McDonald, who is also with District 7 Planning. And today's business that we have here is to talk about the rural secondary program for fiscal year 2025. Before I get too deep into this, I just want to make sure that does everyone have this form along with map on the back or on the next page? All right. Now, the rural secondary program is going to operate very similarly as it has been in the past. It is a KRS mandated program that allocates 22.2% of the motor fuel tax in order to address maintenance needs of rural secondary roadways. Now, there is a second part to that, which is the Flex program. That's the cabinet program that offers the ability to share a portion of the rural secondary funding in order to address county roads, or if the county wishes to elect to use those on state roads, that is also okay as well. On the front of the form, you'll see that for fiscal year 2025, we have the initial allocations that are set up for the use in Madison County. You'll notice that the numbers have gone down, and part of the reason for that is because these are just the initial allocations. Before, we would include the carryover from previous years. As you know, any money that is not expended does carry forward to the next fiscal year. Since we are seeing a lot of bids coming in high from the construction front, We wanted to be conservative in this matter because we have been seeing some overruns across the state as far as bids and change orders and so on. Madison County is looking okay in that front. However, one major change this year is the flex percentage. The flex percentage, as you know, is based on a maintenance rating of the rural secondary roadways throughout Madison County, and it did go down from a level B to a level C. So that does still afford us to share the funds with the county, but it will be in a matter of 15% of the initial allocation as opposed to the normal 20 that we've seen in previous years. The $238,235 is the projected amounts. I believe Bobby Joe has recently sent that initial allocation amount in an earlier email. Of course, the official numbers will have a better idea of come closer to the fiscal year, which begins in July. So below that, we have the balance of RS funded projects, $631,423, with a total of $869,658. Now below that, you'll see the Blue Diamond projects FY23, where we have authorized and actually completed portion of Charlie Norris Road, Kirksville Road, as well as Whitlock Road. Below that, we have fiscal year 24 authorized projects, which were approved by Rural Municipal Aid, as well as awarded to construction. Our construction should be beginning on that sometime in the spring when the asphalt plants start opening up for the construction season. From the fiscal year 2024, we have authorized a portion of Crooksville Road, Maple Grove Road, College Hill, as well as Barnes Mill Road. And that leads us to for the fiscal year 2025 recommendation. Now, the Orange Diamond projects are the recommendations for the rural secondary funds that are to be used on state roadways. And we have two recommendations, one on Kentucky 1156 Jacks Creek Road for a little over 3 miles beginning at the Kentucky River Road out to Kentucky 169. That would be a resurfacing project, as well as Kentucky 876 Barnes Mill Road from the Silver Creek Bridge out to near Redwood Drive. The numbers that you see here, the $350,000 and $200,000, of course, are currently estimates. We'll officially know how much the awards are going to be sometime in October or November if we do get to a letting on time. So just keep that in mind as we're moving forward. That $550 could be more than what we are anticipating. Now, going to the Green Diamond project, this is the use of flex funds. As I said, and just like in earlier years, flex funds could be utilized for county road use for resurfacing type projects. However, the court does have the option to give those monies back to the state in order to address state roadway. And if that's the case, the recommendation that we have is Kentucky 1156 Jacks Creek Road for a longer portion of 1.352 miles beginning at US 25 and heading out to Boone Way. So what we're asking from the court today is two motions. One is the approval of the orange projects for use of the RS funds on state roads, as well as a motion on whether or not the court wishes to utilize the flex funds toward a state roadway.
Thank you, Casey. Appreciate it. Casey, a question I've got on the balance for RS projects, the 631. Do you all leave like there's $81,000 difference in that number and what you have projected or recommended on the RS projects? Does that carry over to next year? Or do y'all use it as like a little balance in case something costs a little more than what was maybe expected?
Right. We could go negative on the RS balance, and that has happened in other counties. However, any funds that is not utilized for this year would move forward to next year. The only exception to going into negative balance is the flex funds. If the flex funds were utilized for county roadways, that balance cannot go negative. It stays at zero, and that's because we established an agreement with the county with that amount. Yeah. And obviously, it says anything in excess is responsibility of the county. But yes, the initial distribution is 90%, which is given out, and then at the end of the year, there is a approximately a 4 to 10% balance at the end that would move forward into the next fiscal year, but it also covers any change orders or any overruns as well. For Madison County, I'm not too concerned that we will go negative for fiscal year 25 going into 26. There is always that possibility, though.
The other question is and this is all based off, still part of that fuels tax formula?
Correct.
Is that
yes.
all?
It is, yeah. I guess I didn't explain that part, but yeah, it's a 22.2% of the motor fuel tax, and that is all divvied out to the counties by a FIS formula, the same formula. It's an even spread across all the 120 counties, another fifth based on rural population, a fifth for rural mileage, and then 2/5 for rural land area. That it's still the same rules, yeah.
Right. And I guess compared to this fiscal year versus the 24 fiscal year, it's projected, I guess, the fuel prices, fuel tax won't be as high.
Revenue, yeah.
The revenue won't be as high.
We're looking close, pretty similar, but yeah.
Okay. Hey, hit your button, Billy Ray.
There's law passed that put a surcharge on electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles, isn't that?
Correct.
Intended to offset that fuel tax loss.
Correct. Yeah, there was and I believe it was that law became effective in January.
Yeah.
Just also keep in mind that the number of electric vehicles though that we have in the registered in the state of Kentucky is really a fraction of a percent. So even though it is making up for the loss in tax revenue because of the lack of use of fuel because of the electric vehicles, it's not going to have that huge effect at the end, since there are really just so few electric vehicles registered in the state of Kentucky.
But there are hybrids, though, quite a few hybrids.
Correct, and there is a surcharge on that as well. I believe it's half of what the electric vehicle surcharge would be. Yeah.
Now, you said two motions. Say that.
Correct.
What were the two motions again?
The two motions is the approval of use of the Orange Diamond, of the RS projects on the Orange Diamond projects. And the second motion is whether or not the court wishes to apply the flex funds onto a state road or hold on to it for county roadways.
Historically, have we held on to the flex fund?
It's a yes and a no on the resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but historically, the court has elected to hold on to the flex.
Yeah.
And just for the course knowledge, the difference in flex funds, if the RS routes are not graded well, then our flex fund amount is lower. When the RS routes are good, then our flex fund amounts is higher. So we're, from last year to this year, I think it's roughly about $79,000 less in flex funds, but that really means they put more on the RS roads. We don't necessarily lose that money from it being spent inside our county. It's just we don't get the pleasure of deciding what county roads we get to blacktop. They have the pleasure of blacktopping more rural secondary roads.
That's exactly right. It gives more money to the state to apply for state roadways.
In Madison County.
In Madison County, correct.
Yeah. So when you look at last year, we got roughly 312,000. This year we're only getting 238. But it's because of the grade of their roads, their rural secondary roads. All right, any other questions for Casey?
You may or may not know this. How much of the gas tax is revenue from out of state? From what we take in gas tax?
Oh, like a percentage of those traveling through the town? Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have an answer to that.
Good question.
That is a good question, though, yeah.
I mean, when you look at tourism, I know the county doesn't necessarily benefit from tourism directly. We don't have tourism tax, that kind of thing, but tourism does help us, and people coming here spending money, buying gas, and those kind of things. It'd be interesting to see what that percentage was.
Yeah, and where the tax revenue is collected, because we have some pretty large stations here in Madison County. That's irrelevant. It's spread across the entire state based on our receipts of the tax revenue. So, yeah.
And the tax is actually on the wholesale price. You don't, consumer doesn't see that at the pump.
Correct. Yeah. No, that's all included in that sale price. Yeah, that's correct.
All right. Any other questions? All right, Casey, thank you. I'll have Scott come up now. Scott, you plan to read the resolution?
Yes, sir.
I'll have Scott come up now and read the resolution, and then we'll see how this goes.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Resolution 2024-20. A resolution for the Madison County Fiscal Court to vote on the recommended use of FY 2025 Rural Secondary Program funding. Whereas the Rural Secondary Program was established as a mechanism of funding for roads classified as rural secondary under the state primary road system. And whereas each fiscal year, funds are allocated to the Rural Secondary Program as authorized in Kentucky Revised Statute Sections 177.320 through 177.360. And whereas the statutes delineate that the funds shall be used for construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of secondary and rural roads in each county. And whereas the roads being recommended for the 2025 fiscal year are Kentucky 1156 Jacks Creek Road and Kentucky 876 Barnes Mill Road. And whereas the road being recommended for use of flex funds for the 2025 fiscal year is Kentucky 1156 Jacks Creek Road, total of 1.352 miles at $160,000. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to vote as follows. 1. Does the Madison Fiscal Court accept the recommended routes for the use of the FY 2025 rural secondary funding? 2. Does the Fiscal Court wish to apply flex funds to a state-maintained roadway? Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the Judge Executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Scott. So do I have a motion for Resolution 2024-20 to vote yes on number 1 and no on number 2?
Make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. So that means that we would approve the orange diamond on the flex or the rural secondary sheet to recommend we approve the recommendation of the RS projects, and that we would vote no on using the flex funds on state maintained roadways, which means we would use them be able to use it on our county roads. So just want to be clear. So I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. All right, thank you, Casey. Casey, do you want us just to email this to you, or do you want it now? Or?
That should be fine. You can
Okay.
email a scanned copy of it.
Yeah.
That'll be perfect. We could address any questions from the court, transportation wise at this point, or we'll head on out. So,
We appreciate you coming and presenting. We always look forward to it.
all right, perfect.
We're not going to chew on you too much.
You're letting me off a little too easy. I feel. I don't know. I might receive a phone call later.
Yeah, I'm sure you will at some point.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Good
it.
morning.
See you guys. Thanks. All right, next is a resolution 2024-21. This is the TC Energy Build Strong Grant Funds application.
Okay, Resolution 2024-21, a resolution for application and administration of TC Energy Build Strong grant funds. Whereas TC Energy Build Strong is currently accepting applications for their program to equip first responders, and whereas funds for TC Energy Build Strong grant program are to be awarded on a competitive basis for first responders, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court desires to make an application for TC Energy Build Strong grant program funds for a cell phone Sally that is used to teach children of Madison County various 911 life-saving skills, and whereas TC Energy Build Strong grant request will be approximately $7,625 if awarded, and whereas a local match is not required. So now therefore be it resolved on this 12th day of March 2024 by Madison County, Kentucky, that the Judge Executive and/or his designee is hereby authorized to make application for these funds, and if the application is successful, to enter into agreements with TC Energy Build Strong to administer these grant funds and to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer the award and act as the authorized correspondent for the above referenced project.
Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate you. Members of the court, y'all have heard resolution 2024-21. What's the pleasure of the court, please?
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? We're good. Call the roll.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, Wendy. Appreciate all you do. Next, Jill, we got Resolution 2024-22, newspaper of record for required advertising.
Yes, this is a resolution approving the newspaper of record for required advertising. This resolution supersedes Resolution 2024-06. Whereas in addition to internet postings pursuant on KRS 424.145, some advertisements are still required to be published in the newspaper, having the largest bona fide paid circulation as outlined in KRS 424.120. And whereas beginning January 1st, 2024, in lieu of newspaper publication, Madison County Fiscal Court began posting all public notices and public hearings, as well as all bids, requests for proposals, requests for quotes, and specifications on their website, www.madisoncounty.ky.gov/public-notices. All items are available for viewing at 135 West Irvin Street, Suite 300, Richmond, Kentucky, or by calling 859-624-4700. Whereas pursuant on KRS 424.120, which is the intent is to ensure the greatest number of citizens are notified in regard to any advertisements that are required to be published in the newspaper. On January 23rd, 2024, Madison County Fiscal Court passed Resolution 2024-06, acknowledging that the Richmond Register's clerical error made in their October 1st, 2023 Statement of Ownership filing, and will place any and all advertisements that are required to be published in the newspaper in the Richmond Register. And whereas because of the circulation reporting error, Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to advertise in the Berea Citizen and the Richmond Register for any advertisements that are required to be published in the newspaper until a new Statement of Ownership is submitted on October 1st, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution to supersede Resolution 2024-06 and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
I make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024-22. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, Jill. Next, Resolution 2024-23. This is the United Spay Alliance Grant Funds application.
Yes, this is a resolution for application and administration of United Spay Alliance Community Cats Grants Program funds, whereas United Spay Alliance is currently accepting application for the Community Cats Grants Program to support spay and neuter programs for community cats. And whereas funds for the Community Cats Program are to be awarded on a competitive basis and are targeted toward trap, neuter, and return TNR programs, rescue organizations, and low-cost spay and neuter providers. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky, desires to make an application for the United Spay Alliance Community Cats Grant Program funds to spay and neuter community cats in Madison County. And whereas the United Spay Alliance Community Cats Program funds application request will be in the amount of $2,000. And whereas grantees must create and implement a brand new fundraiser to receive matching grants up to $2,000 from United Spay Alliance. Now therefore be it resolved this 12th day of March 2024 by Madison County, Kentucky, that the judge executive and or his designee is hereby authorized to make an application for these funds, and if the application is successful, to enter into agreements with United Spay Alliance to administer these grant funds, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer the award, and to act as the authorized correspondent for the above referenced project.
Thank you, Jill. I've heard Resolution 2024-23. What's the
Make
pleasure of the
motion.
court? Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, Jill. Appreciate it. Next is personnel. Ryan Wade. Good morning, buddy.
I bring forth before the court the personnel to be approved as presented in your packet.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. All right, Ryan, employee spotlight.
Yes, sir. Today's employee spotlight is Major Dwight Hall. He's a HR liaison for the detention center. It was wrote about Major Hall that Major Hall exemplifies leadership through his actions, setting a standard of professionalism and serving as a role model for all detention center staff. He demonstrates exceptional leadership, teaching, and mentoring skills, consistently striving for personal and staff improvement.
All right, hey, Ryan, if you don't care, would you kind of just explain a little bit of the process of how this happens, that it's through our portal, employee portal?
Yes, sir.
Just so everybody knows.
So the employee spotlight, the way it works is it's nominated by the peers. So anyone who works for the county can nominate any employee at any time that they feel has gone above and beyond the call of duty and would like to be recognized in the employee spotlight.
Yeah.
So I encourage anyone who's watching today or anyone that's in the court proceedings today to nominate that person that they feel has gone above and beyond in their department, so we can recognize them for their hard work, because that's what we're all about.
Yep, that's good. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right, next, judge's report. Just a few announcements. Whitehall Park Lake will be stocked with 700 catfish tomorrow on March 13th. Berea Parks and Recreation is hosting the Kent Family Circus on Saturday, March 16th. So it's coming Saturday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Folk Center, the Russell Acton Folk Center here in Berea. This is a free event that includes a magic show, daring stunts, and face painting. Mayor Bly's State of the City address will be on Tuesday, March 19th at 8:30 a.m. at the EKU Perkins Building in Richmond. Contact the Richmond Chamber of Commerce to purchase tickets. Also, the Richmond Chamber and Berea Chamber will be hosting the Top 25 Madison County Leadership Awards event on Thursday, March 21st at 6 p.m. at Honeysuckle in Berea. Tickets can be purchased at www.bidpal.net. Now's the time, also the time to reserve a pavilion at one of our parks, our county parks, for birthday parties or family get-togethers. Contact Battlefield Golf Course at 624-8005 to make your reservations, and that will be Whitehall, Kirksville, and Union City Parks is where you can reserve a pavilion. And then real quick shout out to one of our citizens, Betty Alexander. You know, a lot of times in government, you hear the negative. You don't always hear the positive. And so we are always encouraged when a citizen reaches out and talks about one of our departments. And we felt like that in a society of a lot of criticism and negativity, it's always good to share a little positive. So this was a letter that she did to the editor, I guess. And a job well done by the road department. Too often, what people do in the line of duty is taken for granted. The work order is carried out, then on to the next job. I'd like to show gratitude for an exceptional service rendered that benefits anyone who exits Arbuckle Road onto the busy and dangerous highway of 1295. Thank you to the road department responsible for clearing the overgrown vegetation from the roadside so we can see traffic coming from either direction. Each year it gets trimmed back but regrows by summer's end. This winter or late fall, though, the road department returned and did a superb job of clearing the roadside even further back and down the bank of Silver Creek. As a resident of Arbuckle Road, I'd like to extend my thanks to those involved for a job well done. Betty Alexander, Richmond, Kentucky. So thank you, Betty. Keep sending out those positive vibes. And that's the end of my report. So I normally start with Steve now, so I guess I'll go on to Billy Ray, and then Brian, I'll come back to you.
All right.
Yeah. Billy Ray.
We had a magistrates convention a week or so ago, and that's always interesting to listen to what some other counties are involved in, and they had a listening discussion session, and one of the counties was talking about some conditional use permits, and it piqued my interest. They were talking about distilleries that were coming into their county using conditional use permits. And what happened, a conditional use permit says, okay, it's only good for the permit that the landowner, but if they ever sell it, that conditional use permit is no longer valid, that it has, and ideally the property would revert to its original zoning. Well, what they were saying in this particular county, and I won't say the name of the county, but and there's a lot of interest in distilleries right now. Matter of fact, we've had two in the past month here in Madison County wanting conditional use permit for hundreds of acres of land, you know, in far reaches of the county. And they said, you know, what they were finding is these distilleries were doing some massive construction, big buildings, a lot of concrete, a lot of blacktop. It was reached the level of what they considered a little bit more than a conditional use permit. And so, you know, I've asked Reagan, and we're gonna investigate this situation just a little. I'm not opposed to the distillery. It's wonderful. I mean, if you've ever been over to Woodford Reserve, it's a very picturesque drive down a beautiful county lane. I don't, you know, if you could repeat that, that'd be a wonderful thing. But I'm not sure, you know, what kind of bandwidth these folks come in with these big ideas for a distillery, what the end result will be. So I think it's something we need to look at pretty closely before we, you know, it's a lot easier to prevent a problem than it is to fix it. And I'd like to be in the preventive mode just a little bit before things get out of hand on us. And with that, you know, I'd like to hear any input anybody's got, but that's, you know, I just wanted to bring that up.
I'm good. Yeah, I think it's a valid point to make sure that we get it right. I will say that I was very proud of the Board of Adjustments and the way that they handled that first solar project, and how they tabled it and how that they really were thoughtful and mindful. They educated themselves. We as a county government, you know, administratively educated ourselves on making sure that that it was a positive impact on our community and the neighbors. And I feel like that this process for these distilleries will be the same way, that we will be thoughtful in making sure that it has a positive impact on our community. So I'm open for the discussion when the time comes, but appreciate you bringing that up. Anything else? Brian?
Just want to thank all the department heads for all their hard work. We don't often thank them enough, and just like the letter that you got, Judge, just thanking the road department. For every department head, we really appreciate all the work that you do, and we miss our other magistrates this morning. I hope Tom gets to feeling better, but if anybody should need him, he can be reached at 200-9765. And other than that, Judge, I'm just glad to be here.
Oh, that's classic. That one right there will go down the record books. Yeah, that's awesome. He's watching. He's laughing right now is what he's doing.
We miss you, Tom.
Yeah. Counselor.
I was going to say something. I should have said it earlier because I think Jennifer's already left on us. To let you know, I know the court's always interested in what Madison County is doing outside of necessarily our stuff that we do here every day, but I did want to give Jennifer a shout out because I presented with her statewide to all Commonwealth and county attorneys about a program that we run here in Madison County, and I know Judge is familiar with it, the Blueprint for Safety, Madison County's Blueprint for Safety, and the feedback that we received on those presentations was amazing. We shared all of our information, and we call it the binder that we use is kind of our Blueprint Bible, but shared that out with everybody, and a lot of good feedback, especially about Jennifer and how well she presented and what the information was obtained. So it was a good moment for Madison County to be recognized, and I'd say there's probably a lot to come forward from that. They had already reached out. We've had a few counties ranging from eastern all the way to the about far western as we can get, asking if I would come out and Jennifer would come out and present to them to kind of get them started on doing something very similar for those domestic violence cases. So It's a really good thing.
It's awesome. It's good. She's a rock star, no question. Kenny?
Yes, sir. So we are preparing for the presidential primary coming up in May. Right now we have 100 folks signed up to come to class. Over the last couple of cycles, we've been 30 or 40 short for people showing up for class. So we've barely gotten by these last couple elections, and we will not get by. But if you want lines at the polls, they're coming if we've only got 80 people to work. We've added 2 locations. We've added Ignite South down here in Berea, and we've added the Active Living Center that's right past the bowling alley in Richmond.
Oh, yeah.
The western part of Richmond. 2 excellent locations. We've got the equipment to go in the locations. We've got to have the people.
How many do you need, Kenny, like total?
Right now, for the presidential primary, not the presidential, we need about 140. And like I
140.
say, we've got 100 signed up, but traditionally, not everybody comes to class. They
Do
sign
you
up
need
and they
140 to make it go smooth, or that 140 minus 20 or 30 that
go.
don't?
We need 140 to make it go
To
smooth.
make it go smooth, okay. So you really need to have 180 sign up.
If it's going to go traditional like it does
Yeah.
with the no-shows. So the real bottleneck in the process is check-ins. People at the poll books checking folks in, moving through the line. We've always got spots at the express vote machines open. We've got to have 4 clerks at each location to make that thing go well. That's what makes the line move. For election day, including the training class, it's $250 for the whole day on Tuesday. On early voting, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday before, from 8 to 4, it's $16 an hour. We recently increased that. So we're talking right now in our group with us and marketing, what do we do next? Because we've done everything we can on the cheap, for free basically, to communicate to folks that this is a problem. We need your help to fix this. I mean, people are worried about elections. If you're worried about elections, come work one. Get involved in the process and learn how it actually works. So they can go on our website. What is my website? Madison County Clerk.ky.us.
.gov.
I Google it. I type in Madison County Clerk, Kentucky, and it pops up. Madison County Clerk.us.
It's not gov. Is it gonna be gov? Oh, we're changing. He's not. Yeah, he's separate. Okay. You ought to
Anyway,
be.
I'm glad nobody's confused over that now.
You ought to be changed. to gov.
Madison County Clerk, KY.us. Madison County Clerk.us. 859-624-4703. I do know that one. As our phone number. Please call and sign up. If you don't have to work every day, I think people are afraid because of all the PR elections are getting right now, the negative stuff, people may be afraid to work elections. We don't have any problems in Madison County, knock on wood, with folks having problems with elections. Please come help us out, because it's going to get dire. I don't know what the next move is, and we're not the only county seeing it. Everybody's seeing it.
With this streamlining of your polling locations, and has that, if we were using the old methods where we were spread out all over, how many people would you require?
180. We wouldn't have had the last 2 elections.
I mean, so
We would not have been able to have.
requirements gone down with the streamline?
That was the big push. That's one of the things we pushed on when we started working on these polling location idea 5 years ago, is you don't have to have 4 people per precinct.
Yeah.
You still have to have the party parity, DNR, that kind of thing in the polling location, but you can use those people where they're needed versus having the precinct sitting there that has no line and a precinct with a line out the door.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a huge change, and without that change, like I say, the last 2 elections, we can't conduct it with 80 to 90 people because it's illegal. So without that law change, it would have been massive. And COVID made a big difference. I mean, we were, and our folks, I've always said that our folks are, the average age is around 60. Well, those folks they don't feel like working a 12-hour day.
It's a long day.
It is. So we need
It's more than
younger
12
folks.
hours.
Yeah, it's 12 hours of work.
Yeah.
It's about 14 by the time you get there, set up, and get everything shut down and get out. Yeah, it's about a 14-hour day.
Yeah.
But we need the younger folks, younger generation, to step up and help us out here, because this is democracy. Without that help, we cannot continue to conduct elections.
Now, elected officials, as elected official, we can actually work the polls
As long as you're not on the ballot.
it's not on the ballot, right? So
Right.
maybe we should be some alternates or something. Maybe we should go to the class, and then that way that we could be kind of
Well,
back.
there's no such thing as alternates,
There's not.
because we use them all. If you sign up, you will be placed at a poll.
I want to be the last resort.
I'll tell a short story. Harold Richardson
Yeah.
worked the polls for. He's the kind of fellow we don't see anymore. Harold was involved in his community, volunteered. But anyway, we always short Republicans, so we would call Harold. Yeah, I'll come work. Well, he told me, I saw him out before election one time. He said, Kenny, I'll work again, but I do not want to work. You understand me, right? And I said, yes, sir, we'll put you in a glass case that said break in case of emergency, Harold. I'm not belittling any generation, but Harold's generation and some, not too far younger than him had a desire to be involved in their community and help, and that is going away more and more every day.
So
I'm also open to suggestions about what we can do. We've continued to improve our process on how we recruit and everything for years, but it's getting tough.
So they have to be 18?
They have to be 18 and registered to vote. Those are the requirements.
Okay. Anything else, Kenny?
Nope.
Good. Appreciate the update. Sheriff, you have anything?
We'll just advise the court, 5 of our new vehicles have been delivered. They're at the Lawrenceburg location now, equipment being installed, so hopefully within the next few weeks we'll get them, get those out on the road. We've had several vehicles go down in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so we're in need of getting those new ones out on the road. Been very busy over the last few weeks. Unfortunately, we've had some overdose deaths and some accidental deaths and things of that nature that we've been tied up on. We've just had 2 court security officers graduate from their training, and they're now certified, so we've got 2 others that's in the running process at this time. But other than that, we're staying busy and trying to get the job done.
That's good. Sheriff, when do you expect to have the cars? How long does it normally take them to fit them up with the lights and everything?
I would say within the month.
Yeah. Do they do the stripes and everything, the name and everything? Yeah.
Next 4 to 6 weeks, we should have them on the road.
Okay. Good. Good. All right. Thank you, Sheriff. All right. Got everybody there. All right. Department heads. Anybody need to address the court today? Nobody's getting up, so I would say that's a no. Comments from the audience or Facebook comments?
Other than Tom and Steve both saying thank you and that they miss you too. We do have one comment. Steve Durham asked this question for Kenny: can independent voters be election workers, and how does that work?
Absolutely. That's one of the things we got changed in this revamping of our election process, and independents can work the elections.
And so they would use the same link. And what's
The
that
same link? I think it's Madison.
Here we go. Just give them your phone number.
I already put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, anybody can work now. That's one of the things we changed, and it did not make a big bump in the difference. I think we had 4 independents in the last election work. So yeah, anybody can work.
That's good. Thank you, Jill. All right. I need a motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers, please.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Magistrate Hughes?
Yes.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Our next meeting will be March 26, 2024, in Richmond at Richmond City Hall at 9:30 a.m. Again, our next court meeting will be March 26, 2024 in Richmond at 9:30 a.m. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Very well, there's no discussion on adjournment, so just call the roll.
Yes.
Magistrate Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you all. Appreciate everybody being here.